start finding your seats. Yeah, why not? We didn't know how to turn it on. No? All right. No good? Alrighty. Good evening, everybody. Well, welcome back if this is your second cafe night, or a very big hello if it's your first. I think everyone's made a really good decision in coming out tonight because we've got George Richards, who's going to be giving us a bit of a prepare to preach talk tonight. I'm going to be having a little spiel as well, before and after, just to get your heads around what's going to be at the show and, I don't know, what you can do, the fun you can have. We're actually really close to a lolly store and a beef jerky store, which is great. I'm a beef jerky guy, so lucky me. We are just going to start our night off with prayer, and I'm going to do that. So just bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you once again, so thankful for this gift that you've given us. The gift of fellowship, the gift of friendship, and the gift of food before us. We thank you for it all. Father, that we recognize your hand in the week that we're about to take part of, and we realize that every ounce of energy that we give to it should be used to further your glory. And that is our prayer, that we can further your glory in this week that lies ahead of us. Help every conversation that we have, help every thought that we might choose to share, help it all to be pure and good. Father, help us to share your name to the world, and help us to bring more children to Sunday school so that they might begin to learn more about you and fall in love with you just as we do. We love you, Father. We ask this prayer through your Son, the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. So, the way this night's going to run is I'm just going to do a quick little talk about what we've got on the show. We've actually just sort of finished building it. We got a few other things, but we spent the last sort of 3 hours building it, so we're here now. We had to build that as well, which was cool. It's like a big day. Anyway, no, that was not an applause. Anyway, let me show you what's on. This is cool. So, yeah. Yeah. So this is awesome. It's a little bit blurry. That's probably my iPhone's fault, but honestly, I think that this when we were building ideas for this so many months ago, this is so spot on to exactly what I think our community had come up with. That's not an applause moment. And I'll just be quick with this. So obviously you guys know a lot about In His Footsteps. That's what our last session was on. But what I'll probably share with you is a few key things that are on our stand, just so that I can give you a quick rundown. If you have any questions, you can always talk to me. But we'll start on the left-hand side and we'll work our way round the stall. So our stall, by the way, is in the very middle of Goita Pavilion, like the middle slot. It is E27, which is smack bang in the middle, which is awesome. To our right, we have a lolly stand, and to our left, we have like a naturopath healing studio. So quite the variety. And then opposite us, we've got like some pergolas. I think that's what they're called. But the pergola thing's awesome because usually we're stuck in a corridor, which means that only people can only see our stall if they're walking down the corridor. But because we've got these pergolas in front of us, people can actually see our stand from like a good 15 meters away, which is awesome. Because I think our stand really stands out. Anyway, so let's go left to right. So on the left, you'll see we have built a custom vending machine. Now the reason for that is because inside this vending machine, there are cards. And Jackie has been really hard at work and she did an amazing job. Yeah, clap Jackie. It's good vibes. No, Jackie's done an awesome job. So why do we have cards in the vending machine? Because it's sort of like a mystery prize thing. So people that come up are going to put their little number in the vending machine, and then this card's going to drop out, and on the back of the card, it has like, you have won a chocky bar, or a squishy pet, or a fidget toy, like kids' toy. Oh, you guys probably like fidget toys too, but still. Anyway, why are we giving out free prizes? The reason is because next to the vending machine, we have an iPad, and the iPad is going to be collecting data from the people who want to use the vending machine. Why do we need data? Because we have the lovely Steve Cadeau, who, no. Where is he? Where is he? I don't know where he is. Down here. Yeah, the lovely Steve Cadeau. So Steve and Em, absolute power couple over here. They're going to be running... I'm going to just stop listing people's names from now on. So they're actually going to be running a post-preaching week marketing campaign, and they're going to be using a lot of the information that comes from that vending machine, because we obviously don't want our preaching effort just to sit within this next week. We want it to extend as long as possible, and that's what those guys are going to do. So absolutely looking forward to that. And now, that boat-looking thing, that is where everything's going to be stored. So if you come on the day and you need to throw your jumper underneath it, or you've got keys, just chuck it underneath that table. It's also got like all our spare show bags, anything that you need that needs to be stocked up. And on top, those are our free show bags. Really should have given you a better photo. The free show bags, I know you guys are very across it, but inside there's a Sunday school activity that pairs with the free episode that they're given. That free episode is printed, the QR code, is printed onto a pamphlet inside the show bag. I think George is probably going to talk you through a little bit better how to like work that into conversation. But that's really what they're for, is if you talk to a parent or maybe even a kid that's like, yeah, like I'd be happy to take a free show bag, then that's the way to do it. In the middle there, we have got a TV, and we've got the Sams, who you're becoming more familiar with, up the top there. And that TV is going to be playing on repeat the David and Goliath episode, the one that they're getting for free. We'll keep working our way round to the right. That's a table. Goodness, that's a table there, and that's going to have all the kids' activities. So we've got like kinetic sand. What else have we got? Ash, she's back there. We've got some cool stuff. I'm not super across it, but there is cool stuff there. Ash has done, no clapping. Someone did a really good job. Anyway, that's more like if you're talking to a parent and it's a long conversation, you can be like, oh, if your kids want to go play with the kinetic sand, you know, stuff. Anyway, there's plenty for kids to do on this stand. Those are more photos. And yeah, E27, if you ever need to tell anyone where you are, just say E27 in Goita Pavilion. That's the one that you want to share with them. Maybe write that down on your phone. Jubilee Pavilion, my bad. Should have fixed that in the marketing, whoops. All right, all good. But yeah, so obviously lots of really cool stuff. We're not quite there, but at least we give you guys a really good idea of what you're going to find on the stand when you do get to that. Anyway, enough from me. It is time to hand it over to the one and only, the George Richards himself, who's... So George is going to run us through a bit of a prepare to preach session. And yeah, let me try and... Oh, look at that. All right. George, thanks. Yeah, George.
I'll try the other one. That more like it? Yeah, cool. Well, thanks, Tom, for your outstanding talk there. Come on, guys. I thought that was pretty good. No, it looks awesome, and yeah, Preaching Week's such a good opportunity. I think they've been doing it at the show for quite a while. I think it took over from like a preaching weekend effort that Brother Sam Luke over there can tell you all about. Used to go out into the highways and byways of Port Augusta and whatever and do preaching week up there. And then I think this is kind of, the show stand is kind of taken over from there, which is such a good way of getting us all out there. I've done a couple and they're great. So, but sometimes preaching, especially when you're young and you haven't done heaps of preaching, it could be your first opportunity preaching. Has anyone preached before this and are raring to go for this too? Okay, so like a little bit of a minority. So lots of us are doing it for the first time. And it is true, I won't lie to you, preaching can be a little bit overwhelming, a little bit daunting. If anyone who's preached before wants to give a bit of an insight as to maybe what's tough about preaching, does anyone want to share? Yeah. That's an interesting one. Yeah. Nah, for sure. Yep. So yeah, preaching can be tough, like make no bones about it. But tonight what I really want to get across is that if you're prepared and you can keep it simple and you can just be, literally, it's as simple as just being happy, this will be a really fun, easy opportunity for us to get out there. And if you haven't preached before, it's actually a really good way of getting into it. So we want to make this whole preaching effort, and tonight what I want to focus on is just keeping it simple, make it easy for people who haven't preached before, so you've got the tools to go out there and be a rock star. So there's 7 things that I want to get across tonight, 7 tips. Me and Steve Mansford are all over the alliteration. So preaching is a privilege. We start with that one as well. That's what we really want to form our foundation on, is it's all about God. About reading the room. It is about reading the room as well. It's about understanding body language and how receptive people are. And sometimes people just don't actually want to be spoken to, and not every person you're going to run to is going to be a conversation. So it's not necessarily about that either. But how we create conversations is another good one. How you get yourself started, how you interact with people, how you kind of break the ice. Just the importance of keeping it simple. And as Tom said, we're really promoting Footsteps, which is just a really good way of condensing the truth into something that people can at least be interested in a way. It's also about practicing your pitch. So we're going to have a look at just getting and being able to nut out some ideas about what you personally believe. It's really about the why. So why are you doing it? What's exciting to you about the truth, and what kind of enthusiasm are you going to bring to Preaching Week? Because that's what it's all about as well. Tangible take-homes as well. This is pretty important too. If you even have like a fleeting chat with somebody, a fleeting interaction, giving them something physical so that they can take home with them is pretty important as well, because it's the show. They've gone to a million stalls. They're probably going to forget every stall they've been to. But especially if you've given it to them for free, if they've got something physical that they remember, like 2 months later on, and are like, oh, sweet, I remember them talking about that, then that's as good as anything. And just teamwork, like at the end of the day, that's super important as well. How big are the teams per session, just out of interest? 4? Yep. And is there like a moderator, like parent? Is there somebody looking after them as well? Yeah. Nah, cool. So that's good. Little chaperone. So I just want to start with the first one. Preaching is a privilege. I'm sure you'd all agree with me. Because I think it's easy, and this is probably one of the reasons why we find it difficult to preach, is because we become quite self-focused, and we can become quite self-conscious about why we're doing it, you know. Am I going to come across as a crazy kind of Bible-bashing person? Am I going to say something weird? Chances are most people aren't interested in religion. People are going to get pretty bored because I'm not particularly excited in the message of the Bible. But remembering at the end of the day that it's God's word and we're just vessels is such an important part of it as well. So God has given us this eternal life, basically, and however way you kind of see yourself. Corinthians talks about being vessels with fire in us, and the vessels break and whatever else, but the fire stays on. So just remembering that we're just vessels that God is going to use. So yeah, like I say, when you focus on self, you become more self-conscious, and that's when it gets a little tricky to preach. And God is definitely there with you when you're preaching. Like, all God asks us to do is share the hope that we have. Like, we do have, I believe that we have the truth as Christadelphians, and that's not something, well, it is to be proud of in a sense, but the important part about having the truth within us is so that we can share it, not hide it, like hiding your light under a bushel, for example. God will sort out the income. We just need to get out there, and it's awesome to see so many people are keen to preach. But at the end of the day, as 1 Corinthians, and Remy has his Bible out, are you happy to read a couple of verses for us, please? This is Will's Bible. Will, do you mind if we use your Bible?
Yeah, go for it.
Thanks, mate. So, Rem, 1 Corinthians 1, verse 21 and 27. And does somebody want to volunteer for the other one? 1 Corinthians 3?
Yep.
Yeah, thanks, Lewis. So the first one, 1 Corinthians 1, is basically God using preaching as the method to get the word out there. And we'll hear that from Rem. Thanks, Rem.
Right. For since in the wisdom of God, the world through wisdom did not know God, it pleased God through the foolishness of the message preached to save those who believe. For Jews request a sign, and Greeks seek after wisdom. But we preach Christ crucified to the Jews, a stumbling block, and to the Greeks foolishness. But to those who are called, both Jews and Greeks, Christ is the power of God and the wisdom of God. Because the foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men. For you see your calling, brethren, that not many wise according to the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. But God has chosen the foolish things of the world to put to shame the wise, and God has chosen the weak things of the world to put to shame the things which are mighty.
Thanks, Rem. And Lewis?
For you are still of the flesh, for while there is jealousy and strife among you, are you not of the flesh and behaving only in a human way? For when one says, I follow Paul, and another, I follow Apollos, are you not being merely human? What then is Apollos? What is Paul? Servants through whom you believed, as the Lord assigned to each. I planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the growth. So neither he who plants nor he who waters is not anything, but only God who gives the growth.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Ed, for that. And that, in a nutshell, is preaching. Like, God is the one who makes it all happen. We're just commanded to go out there and get the word out there. And that's why, at the end of the day, preaching is not putting too much pressure on yourself as well. And that's where it gets that can get tricky, where you can get a little bit self-conscious when you put so much pressure on yourself to convert somebody or to just slam the truth down their throat. You've got 3 seconds and you're chatting about the atonement or something. Like, don't put pressure on yourself. It's just about having an interaction, because at the end of the day, it'll spark an interest. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good your pitch is if God isn't at the center of it, if God isn't working in that person's life. I mean, God does the choosing at the end of the day. It's only going to work if God is a part of the process. So that's just a reminder, just to focus that preaching really is a privilege, and that's a great mindset to get in, that sort of takes the emphasis off ourselves, takes the self-consciousness away and focuses on God, which is what it's all about. Just getting into, I guess, the more practical elements of it. 2 is sort of read the room. So 1 is preaching is a privilege. 2 is when you're actually having your interactions is read the room. Like, not everyone's going to want to have a conversation with you, and that's okay. And just maybe a bit of a tip is when you're sort of started, like, it's fine to just warm up. It's fine just to smile, say good day. If they keep walking, that's fine. Like, just keep building that energy up, because the more you do it, the more relaxed you'll become, the easier it'll get. So if it just starts with a smile, and you'll look very presentable tonight, so I don't think we'll have an issue with that. But first impressions are made before you even open your mouth. So how you present yourself, as simple as, the clothes you wear, the smile you've got on, saying g'day, being friendly, is just such a good way of getting into it. And just start with that. And chances are most people aren't coming to the show to find their new religion, right? Like, people don't go to the show to be like, I'm sick of being a Catholic, I want to go find something else. Like, that doesn't really happen. So people aren't there to find religion, although Footsteps is such a good way of getting people interested in the Bible, for sure. So just start slow if you have to, and keep building up and whatever else. And yeah, like it says there, as you keep going, you can keep adding things and keep building your pitch with people. And I think the other thing that sort of puts us back, and we've sort of had a bit of a chat about this, is don't be too outcome focused. Just get that connection. Even if you're just, I think that the good thing is just making a good impression and leaving something tangible with them. So even if you're just smiling, saying g'day and saying, look, I can see you're busy, the show's so good, there's so many things to do what you have to, but here's a free show bag. Like, you've left something physical with them. Like, at the very least, it's so important just to leave something with them that they can still get in contact with us with. Like, if they're smiling back to you and making contact, like, you've gotten in. People, chances are that they're interested. And the kids are going to come up as well. Like Tom's saying, while the kids are playing, you can kind of chat to the parents about things as well. So, but it doesn't need to be much at all. Like, I think Tom is over here, not over here, chatting about how the focus is on the kids. And I don't know if you want to chat about that afterwards as well, but that's what we're doing this time around at the show, is just focusing on getting Footsteps out there. So read the room. Like, don't try and get across to everyone, because you won't, and not everyone wants to sadly listen. So just getting the conversation started. Just some practical ways of doing that is just asking questions like, how's your day? Like, they've got kids coming with them, the kids are getting into the activities, into the vending machine and whatever else. Just chat to the parents, say, how was your day? Get them involved. Are your kids interested in free activities, that sort of thing? Like you're saying, they can register for a Footsteps episode too. Yep, so get the ball rolling on that. Like we said before, first impressions matter. Like, it's so important in the way that you present yourself and the way that you talk, especially talking like you know what you're talking about is a huge thing as well. And lead it somewhere. Like, if you start a conversation, wrap it up, finish it, say, look, most people aren't going to spend that much time at one particular stall during the fair, because they're probably going to, because they're probably going to get FOMO that they're missing out on something else when they're spending so much time at one stall. So just, you can cut the conversation if you have to. You can say, it's so good to see you. The kids look like they're having fun. Here's a show bag, enjoy the rest of your day. Like, it doesn't need to be this great long conversation. It's just short, sharp, and shiny. And this is, I guess, the main portion of our chat tonight, is just to keep it focused and simple. And I'm not sure how focused and simple that slide is, but preaching can be a little bit overwhelming. And I think a big reason for that is there's so much information. Like if somebody comes up to you and says, "Oh, who are the Christadelphians?" Like there's so many different places you can go. And we love to tell people what we don't believe, which is pretty funny. So try and avoid doing that. But because there's so many different directions you can go, or even if somebody says, "What do you believe?" I mean, you can take that anywhere as well. And it'll be good if we spend just a couple of minutes tonight towards the end of our session, just getting something down that'll take, like Anastasia and I did it on Truth Call recently, just getting through the practice of nutting out what you believe and being able to say it in like 10, 15, 20 seconds is a really good exercise to do as well. So the fact that we have footsteps, the fact that we have a focus is really important, and just channeling into that focus, it can kind of put everything aside. Not that everything's not important, because it is, but our focus is footsteps, and if we can just keep on track with that, it'll be really simple just to get people engaged, and just to help you formulate in your mind what you're wanting to chat to and what you're wanting to leave people with as well. So yeah, keep your pitch simple and just practice. Like that's as good as, I don't know if Anastasia's the same, but like we did role playing as part of Truth Core, and we sort of practiced our pitches and whatever else too. Like I found the thing that gave me the most confidence was just understanding what I was saying, having something formulated, having kept it simple. Like they say, the way that you know a particular subject well is if you're able to explain it to like a 3-year-old. And that's the kind of level that we're wanting to get to. So if you have like a pitch for footsteps, if you do get asked about your own personal belief, there's no harm in sharing that too. Just make it short, sharp and shiny. Just make it catch people's attention, and that's fine. So as a bit of a case study, we're just going to look into footsteps, because I think in today's day and age, one of the big issues we have is screen time, and parents being really worried about their kids and their exposure to technology. So if you want something to sort of focus on, this is such a good way of doing it. Has anyone heard of VeggieTales before? Anyone seen VeggieTales? Couple of people, cool. All the naughty kids out there with TVs growing up, far out. Gotchas. No. So VeggieTales went for, I think it started in the 90s, didn't it, Rem? Started in the 90s? Yep. And went into the, I think the mid-2010s. So it went for ages, and it's got like a 7.4 star rating on IMDb from like 2,000 different people and whatever else. So it's a really good show, but at one point at the height, it was in one in every 3 houses in America that had preschoolers were watching VeggieTales. Like it just took over America like wildfire. And the big reason for that was, and this is kind of sad to a degree, but kind of good as well, like 80% of parents saw VeggieTales as being the best way to get kids learning Bible values. So it was really basic, but parents were like, I got no idea, I'm just going to stick this kid in front of the TV. And because parents are really, I don't know, we've all got parents, we probably all know they really like us, most of us anyway, and they're really like worried about where their kids are going and who their kids are going to be, and making sure they're not going to be like brats and stuff and going to have good manners. Like parents are really worried about that. So this is such a good way to get into that by just saying, look, it's a clean, easy to watch with Bible values and morals TV show. Like you can't get much better than that. Like it's going to be the next Bluey or whatever, probably better. But just think it like that's just and that's not being like deceitful or anything. Like that's just knowing your audience. It's like, we understand parents are worried about their kids, and this is going to be such a good way of getting something wholesome into their screen time, which is crazy. Like parents are so worried about their screen time, but who gives them the screens in the first place? I don't know. Such a weird one. But yeah, so I guess just some stats, like 80% of parents who went to public schools send their kids to Christian schools. So they really want their kids to be growing up with Christian values, and I think that's a really good way of getting into it. So that's, if you want an idea as a pitch, as to how to get people in, as to knowing your audience, understanding their needs like a good salesperson would, Tom, like just like knowing your audience and being able to fill their needs is just such a big part of, and it's not a sales pitch, but I guess it kind of is at the same time. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, like I say, people are worried about their kids, and when the kids are happy, the parents are relaxed and comfortable as well. So just getting the kids happy, getting down to their level while you're on the stand, interacting with them, like that'll make the parents, relaxed and chill and whatever else too. So that's just a great way of connecting with the audience if they do happen to stop by. And there's just a picture for anyone that might be nodding off. So even though we have chatted about, focusing on footsteps, still have a think about your elevator pitch, like your why, like in 30 seconds. We sort of did an exercise where it was like 30 seconds, then a 3-minute pitch, and then like a 30-minute pitch. Yeah, so even just at home, maybe before bed, just really think about, maybe get some dot points down about what you really believe, and then write it out so that you can say it in 30 seconds and just kind of go through that. And that's not to tell people necessarily, that's just for you. That's like, why am I doing this? Where's my enthusiasm coming from? What is it about the Bible that's getting me excited to be here? Because that's such a big part of it too. Like, I mean, if you're at the show and there's this stand and people just aren't that interested or that excited about what they're promoting, like, you're hardly going to be interested by it either. So get excited about it, because that's what's going to get people into it as well, and it's going to help your faith obviously as well. And not that it needs to be a focus, but if somebody does ask what you believe and why you're doing this, like, people are kind of impressed that young people are religious these days, and that they're spending their time not going on, the merry-go-round or whatever, and that they're actually there and on the show stand sacrificing their time chatting to people. So people are like low-key impressed by that. And you've probably had experiences like that as well, that people are genuinely interested to know why you're like that as well. So always be prepared to give an answer. Pretty sure that's 1 Peter. Yep, cool, getting some nods, that's good. And simply just to know why you're doing what you're doing is pretty key. And that just gives you the confidence to have those conversations. Like I was saying before, have a good impression, but kind of lead it somewhere as well. Like there's really no, even if you had a conversation for half an hour and it was a great conversation and you didn't leave them with anything, like it would almost be pointless having that conversation because it didn't go anywhere. You didn't give them any contact information. You didn't give them anything physical that they could remember you by, like your number or, the name Christadelphians, because, you give them a business card with Christadelphia on it or a magnet and it's on their fridge all the time, and then they go past, Brighton Hall one day and they're like, oh, yeah, I know those people. They were pretty cool. Let's check out that show they were telling me about. So leave them with something, because even if you have a fleeting conversation or a fleeting interaction with them, leaving them with something can just do so much more than a full in-depth conversation. So have that moment, like make them remember you, like smile, be happy, say good day, just be polite. People will remember that. And then they might whip out the show bag a couple of months down the track and be like, oh, my kids are playing Grand Theft Auto or whatever these days, Shem, and they're like, my kids need to stop doing that rubbish, like burning cars and stuff. I want them to watch something a bit more wholesome. So that's half the thing about preaching. It's just having that engagement, just sowing that seed, to use that analogy, because 2 or 3 months down the track, they could whip out the brochure that you've given them and be like, well, we didn't have much of an interaction, but what I did have was really good, and I want my kids to be watching wholesome things. Let's make that connection. So if nothing else, just get something in their hand. If you have probably not if they're walking past and they're trying to ignore you and you're just thrusting stuff in their hands. Like, don't do that. Know your audience, as we said. Read the room. But if you did have that fleeting, you both made eye contact, you kind of smiled, you said g'day, you're like, yep, here's a free show bag, enjoy your day. Like, have that kind of interaction, and that can go places. Last one is just work as a team. Keep an eye on the people that are there with you on the stand. Because not every conversation is always going to be profitable as well. If it's about the Bible, fantastic, great. And if it's a bit of a slow period and not many kids are coming through, sometimes those conversations can be really good, and they might not have kids and you might not necessarily be talking about footsteps in that particular conversation. But if you are chatting about the Bible, that's great. And if you're explaining, the Trinity to somebody, if you've got the time, then whatever. But if they're bringing out like tinfoil hat theories, and if they're saying, the Twin Towers falling was an inside job and that kind of thing, because they know you'll just patiently sit there and listen to them, like, cut it. Like, as nicely as you can, just cut it. And if you're seeing somebody who's in one of those conversations as well, and it's a little bit quiet and you can afford to kind of go over there and end the conversation in a nice way, do that as well. And that could be as simple as just saying, hey, it's so good to see you. If you want to chat more about it, here's a show bag with our details in it. Enjoy the rest of your day. I think the fireworks are coming. So maybe head out for that. Get out for the fireworks. So yeah, try and be tactful about it as well. But those conversations, honestly, aren't super helpful. They might be interesting, but they're kind of not worth your time either. So if they start kind of taking that direction, or they're chatting about the Rothschilds and the banking system or whatever, like, end it if you can. So yeah, just help people close out difficult conversations as well if you're there. And typically when you're younger, you're kind of a little bit scared to do anything but listen, and that's totally fine. So if you are one of the older ones and you do have younger people in your team, just keep your eye out for them. And if you see them stuck in conversation, and if you've got the capacity to, just go over there and help them end that sort of conversation. So definitely work as a team, and I'm sure you guys are doing it with your friends anyway, so you'll have each other's back. So that's another really good one. I guess getting to the practical end of it. So here's some good role play exercises just based off what we've been chatting about. So in a couple of minutes, get into groups of 3 and try just some of these activities. Maybe start out, like if you're going to be an aggressive customer or something, like maybe start with that, like on your first go, be like, hey, I'm going to be aggressive this time around. Just bear that in mind, get ready for that. And maybe as you go, the person's comfortable with taking any kind of customer. So if you're keen to do that, start getting into groups and doing that. But on the other hand, if you're kind of not too sure about what you're wanting to chat about, like just start whipping up something in the notes on your phone about like a little pitch that you're going to be doing about footsteps, or even your own personal elevator pitch. And I'm sure, Tom, how much time do we have? Do we have time for that? Sorry? So between now and when you get up next, how much time do we have? About 15 minutes, yeah. So there's a couple of different things you can be doing in the next 15 minutes, even if it's just on the notes on your phone. Just get stuff out about footsteps. And yeah, that's it from me. If you got any questions or disagree with me, chat to Sam Luke.
Hello? Hey. So we're actually not stopping the role play. You're going to keep going. But I will politely ask anyone who's wearing an In His Footsteps shirt or is a host here, we're going to be walking around the cafe, and in your groups, you're all going to be acting like you are on the stand, so working as a team, and we're going to all be the people at the stand. And we want you guys to sort of try and engage with us as we go around, okay? So everyone up? And if you're a host or an In His Footsteps committee member, feel free to walk around. All right. You guys want to take your seats? Take your seats. Take your seats. Take your seats. All right, how was that? You enjoy that? Something different? Thanks very much, George, for your thoughts. I thought that was really, really good. George has actually just come back from his, is it Truth Core? With Stasia. So if you want any more insider tips, then talk to George, because he's fresh off the pan, I guess. Is that what you'd say? Anyway, just to wrap up, I am just going to run through the stand again, because learning is best when it's reinforced. It was an interesting point that George brought up about having an elevator pitch. And so I thought I would put one together using a ChatGPT prompt. So ChatGPT said an elevator pitch for In His Footsteps could sound something like this. In His Footsteps is more than a kid's show. It's about planting lasting values. Through fun stories, games, and activities, children learn kindness, courage, honesty, and faith in action. It shows families that following Jesus isn't just about Bible knowledge, but about living those values every day in simple, practical ways. And so obviously, like George was saying, you don't really have to have that like rehearsed, but you do have to understand what you're saying and why you're saying it. So it's probably a really good practice, like George said, if you can jot something down, have it in your brain, practice it the night before, just in case. We're going to run through the stand again, just so that you have it in your brain again. The vending machine. The vending machine has cards. And what do the cards have on them? Prizes. And why are there prizes on the cards? Why do we need people's information? Exactly right. So, if you were wanting to engage someone, like start talking to someone, in the context of the vending machine, what's something that you could say? That's probably a hard question to understand, so I'll answer it, but I'll keep going with the questions. So, with the vending machine, you could be like, hey, you guys interested in a mystery prize? Something like that. It's just something when someone's walking along, that's just something that you can throw out to do with our stand that can get them to stop. Because it's not about, like George said, keep it simple. It's not about someone's walking past and be like, oh, have you heard about the Christadelphians? Like, that's absolutely an okay line to lead with, don't get me wrong. But I think the focus should really be on just making sure they stop, they interact, and you allow space for that conversation to occur naturally rather than just trying to force it on them by saying, hey, have you heard about the Christadelphians? So the vending machine is there for people to come and get free prizes from the show in exchange for their details. But it's more about giving them something free than it is. Yes?
Do they have to use the iPad before taking the stuff from the vending machine?
Absolutely they do. So they cannot use the vending machine unless they have used the iPad.
What details are you asking for?
It's like their name, their email, I think their postcode, and that's because we want to send them like area-specific marketing. But yeah, so if they're a kid and they want to do it, get mum or dad to use the iPad, because it's free, but it's not absolutely free. They still have to engage with our stand. The absolutely free thing is the show bag, but it's free based on having the conversation about the show bag. Speaking of show bags, good question though, Tobes. If anyone else has a question like Tobes, feel free to yell it out because now is absolutely the time for that. So the show bags. Why do we have show bags? They match our craft activity to the episode. So does everyone understand what that means? No. Grace, Bill, do you understand what that means? Yeah, I know. I stitched her up. She probably didn't even hear what Ash said. So, Grace, Ash said, actually Grace's table. Grace's table, Ash said, the show bag is there to match the activity with the episode we're giving them for free. So in the show bag, there is the disassembled Sunday school craft, and the free episode is available in there via QR code. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yes.
Makes sense? That's why we have show bags. So it wouldn't make sense to hand someone a show bag without talking to them about it, because they're just going to get the show bag and be like, this is a cup and a bit of paper. Why do I need this? And some Haribo gummy bears. They'll probably just take the gummy bears out and leave the show bag. So you need to make sure you have that conversation with them. The TV. Why do we have the TV?
That's where the episode is.
That's where the episode is playing. So the kids can come up to the beanbags and just sit down and chill out, do whatever. I'm not really expecting kids to sit there for 20 minutes, to be honest. In fact, I don't actually expect any kids to sit in the beanbags, but if they do, awesome. It's more just about showing them that that's what we're all about. That's the sort of scene that we create. To the right-hand side, the activities. Why do we have activities?
To entertain the kids while you delude the parents.
Delude the parents. Interesting take. So this is something I didn't actually touch on very well, but let's test your memory. What is the activity that I mentioned? Right, and the other activity is Play-Doh. So it's Play-Doh and kinetic sand. PlayStation, yeah. Maybe next door at the naturopath place. Maybe not actually, don't know what they're all about. So yeah, that is the show stand. Now, t-shirts. I think, sorry.
Sorry, what was the show, like the TV thing on? What was the story?
David and Goliath, great question. So same episode we watched at the last preaching week, Cafe Night, David and Goliath. Chloe?
Back to the iPad.
Yeah.
And we tell people, put in your details. Like, I understand why, but how do we then, if someone's like, oh, I don't want to give you my details, I'm going to use it, blah, blah, like, how would we reassure them, diffuse the situation?
Really good question. I had a conversation with a group over there about this. I will get to your answer, but I'll set up some context first. It feels really strange doing what we're doing like once every 2 years. Like, I totally get the feeling. You're putting on a shirt, and probably for all of you, this is going to be one of the only times that you have to like cold outreach, create that conversation, and try pull people in. Like, it's a really unfamiliar feeling, and it's totally normal for you to feel a little bit nervy about that sort of thing happening, like that rejection, or like, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? The positive is, think about the context of where you are. Like, you are at the Royal Adelaide show, people are in a sea of stands where everyone is trying to sell them something. They know, they get the idea that you guys are like trying to engage with them, and they're totally ready to receive that. So don't think that it's like this bridge you have to cross. But specifically to Chloe's question, what if they don't want to put in their details? That's fine. They can always have a free show bag. Like, I'm not really, it's completely up to you. Like, if you, like, it's never a no. If you, we're willing to give them value for free. Like, if they don't find value in our message, we'll give you value. Take whatever you want. Like, we'll give whatever we can, right? So it's completely up to you. If you think that someone's just coming along and wanting to take out a vending machine, but like, it's completely your call. If you, like, we don't care. Just give it to them, right? Like, it's not.
Do they get a code to operate a vending machine?
No, so it's pretty much just put your stuff in. It says, sweet, feel free to use the vending machine. I would probably suggest having someone there that can walk them through that process. And then, yeah, they just click like 1A, if you've ever used a vending machine. Pretty standard to a normal vending machine. And it's literally just the button 1A or C6 or whatever, that will activate the vending machine and it will filter the card out. You don't need to press anything else. Great questions though, because I've got it all in my brain and I feel like I know how it works. So if you don't know how it works, let me give that to you. Lauren.
The card is just a card itself. The prize is elsewhere.
Yes. Yes.
What do you do with the card? Just put it back in?
You can just like, Ash has a spot for it.
Put it back in the tub that has the prizes, which is not in the photo because it's behind the vending machine. It's a clear plastic tub. Just put it in there.
Yeah. The committee members on the day will have like a bit more knowledge. Like they'll know how to refill the vending machine. They'll know if the TV stuff's up, we'll have guides for that. But yeah, questions like that, absolutely ask the committee member who's there. Cam?
Might be worth just trying just to reiterate that there'll be a committee member, like if anything happens or just to run people through, like so if you don't know something.
Ta-da! So this is what Cam was talking about. This is all of your names. And the person up the very top is going to be your committee member for the day. So if something breaks, that's your point of contact. They will usually be there at the start of your session just to help walk you through, make you settle in, help you get those first few conversations going and really get you set up. But yeah, if you wanted to take a photo of that or you wanted just to jot down the name of the person who's helping you out for the day, that person will be there. Sure, so some people have already received. Okay, everyone who's up to Thursday has already received the committee information. Is that correct? Sweet, great work, Ash. So yeah, obviously the people pre-Thursday already know that. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, yours is coming. So don't worry about that. Yes?
In the show bag,
Yes?
is there only the craft activity or is there other information as well?
Good question. There is the craft activity. There is a pamphlet that is like on the front. It's like, this is what In His Footsteps is about. This is how you access your free episode. And then on the back, it's a Who is the Christadelphians type pamphlet. There's also gummy bears, which I guess is not part of the activity. But yeah, so there's...
So is there details anywhere for if they say, do you guys do Sunday school anywhere else and how do we get in touch and access Christadelphians?
Yep. Yeah, we were super... yeah? Don't know how I get it up. My WhatsApp doesn't work on my laptop, but... yeah, we were super conscious trying not to like cross-brand our stall, because Christadelphian is not a term you hear a lot. So, don't worry about that. Yeah. Hang on. We'll leave it there. Don't worry. I know what I'm across it. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, we didn't want to cross-brand it with like too much Christadelphian versus In His Footsteps stuff. So the pamphlet is primarily an In His Footsteps pamphlet, but then on the back, a bit about the Christadelphians, but not too much because cross-branding. All right. It's an old nickname. T-shirts. T-shirts. So, your T-shirt is going to be at the show stand so that you don't lose it. And I would recommend parking, like arriving at the show, parking your car like 20 to 30 minutes before your session starts. And I know some of you are on the 9 a.m. session, so yes, that means getting there at 8:30. But that's just because we need to make sure there's always people on the stand and that there's a smooth handover, and it's not just, oh, I found it, I'm jumping on. You've got to get there, you've got to get your t-shirt on, which means you have to go get changed, you have to come back. Process. So try and park your car like 30 minutes before so that you can be there 15 minutes before, because you're not going to find it right away, even though it is smack bang in the middle of Jubilee Pavilion. Sorry, I know I'm rambling, but maybe the last thing from me is that this now, as of tomorrow night, is where our committee are handing over all of our work to you guys. And it's time for you all to start owning Preaching Week like it's yours, because it absolutely is. Now, what does that look like better than just a tagline? This means being super proactive with, like, maybe it's jumping on Instagram and putting a story. I've actually made an Instagram story. If you want it, I can airdrop it to you. And it's just like, hey, I'm at the show for In His Footsteps. Come check it out. Here's where it is. And I've already made that. But like, this is part of us now handing over like all those months of planning and like our cafe night, building the interest, working with the ecclesias. It's now literally in your hands, because there's only one committee member on each day, but there's like 10 of you. So it's really time for you guys to start owning Preaching Week. And I'd love to see you all sharing it as much as you can, really owning it, coming prepared, and yeah, just having a good time, really. So yeah, that's all I had to say. But I will open it up to any questions if you're absolutely uncertain about anything, even if it's small. Because the next time you guys will be thinking about Preaching Week, you'll be on the stand, probably.
How do the tickets work? How do we get in?
Great question, right? See, in my brain, I'm like, oh yeah, they'll just get tickets. Ash, did you want to give a better explanation, or do you want me to botch my way through it?
Do you want to watch it?
All right, I'll botch my way through it. So, the way it works is we have actually bought membership tickets, which means that, So why do we need membership tickets? Because it means that one individual can come in and out of the show a lot. But what we're using them for is, Annie Kempster comes in, does her shift, then she leaves and Silas Bennett will take her ticket and come in with her ticket, right? So that's how it's going to work. The committee member will meet you at the gate. Which gate is it?
So the Ridley Gate or the main gate, which is off Rose Terrace?
Sure. So the Ridley Gate is the one that all the uni students normally walk through. Rose Terrace is the one that you see the Ferris wheel when you walk through. Okay? Question, Cameron.
Just to confirm, so that means the person who's on Route 1, when they're done, they've got to leave?
So no, good question. You do not have to leave, because we have individual passes as well. So if you would like to stay for the show, we can absolutely accommodate that, because you can keep your membership pass and we'll just give an individual ticket to somebody else. They're physical, aren't they, the membership tickets? No. All right. Digital. It's the way of the world these days. Sophie.
Just a reminder that I think I'm right. If say Ali comes in at 9 and then I scan her in and then she leaves at 3, I need to scan her out. So she needs to contact me so I can scan her out.
Yes.
So don't leave. If you have a membership thing and it's before 6 p.m, make sure that committee member knows that you're leaving so they can scan you out.
Yeah.
Because after 6 p.m, they reset every night at like midnight. So after 6 p.m, it doesn't really matter like if you leave, because we don't need to get more people in after 6 p.m. So they reset every night.
But otherwise, I think two people are using the one ticket to get in, so that's why it's important.
Two
So you've
people
got to scan out.
can use the same
Yeah.
ticket if one has left,
Yeah,
but you
not
have to,
simultaneously.
yeah, but not simultaneously.
Yes. Yes. Only one person with a membership ticket can be inside the show at one time.
So does that mean you're able to get there early, or should you get there when the shift starts?
You can get there early.
You just have to contact the member.
Committee member, yep. If you have any questions during the day, committee member, like, just default, you've got their number. Yes, Joshua?
Speaking of committee members,
Yeah.
let's say I've finished my shift and I'm exploring the Royal Adelaide show, but I want to leave. But I don't have Sophie's number. Who's the committee member on my day?
You'll get
Okay.
So,
Do we
yeah.
get the number or?
Yeah, so
No, I'm just saying, like,
it's all right. Learning is best when it's reinforced. That's what we're all about. Yes, it's in the message that you clearly didn't read, Josh. Oh. No, Ash has done a great job. She's put together a really good message. Just make sure you read all of it.
dress code you want us to be abiding by.
You can come in whatever you feel comfortable in, really.
But we have to wear a shirt.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not going to be cold inside the pavilion. Like, just won't be. It might be, but it won't be. It won't be. Like, it's heated. Be fine. Any other questions? Just really think about you going through your show day. Is there any part of that day that you're like, oh, actually, not sure?
what if there are people that hate the Bible?
Yeah, really good question. Look at you guys, a couple of brainstormers. I think my approach, if I can share my approach, would be that you have every right, if you are in a conversation you don't want to be in, to step away from that conversation. You're not obligated to have a conversation with anyone. If someone comes up, because we do have Christadelphians up the top of our stand, you might get this type. You probably won't. But if you do get this type, someone might come up and be like, really trying to get stuck into you. My response would be, hello. I'm here to talk about in his footsteps. That's my goal. And if that's not a conversation you're willing to have, then this conversation isn't for me. Sorry.
Here's a show bag.
Yeah. Here's a gummy bear. Here's a gummy bear. Yeah. Or you can use the vending machine if you want. Actually, there's some kinetic sand for him too. We got all sorts. But no, it's a good point. If there are people that are like that, you're not obligated at all to have that conversation. And if it's your first time on the show and you feel like worried about that happening, there is a committee member there. And we've packed a couple of boxing gloves, so we're totally sorted. No. So yeah, if you ever feel like you're backed into a bit of a corner, the committee member really should be there to help you out, especially in the early parts of your shift. The committee member will be there. But you're not obligated to have that conversation, so don't feel like you have to stick it through.
Probably on that as well, like George said, don't take the bait either. Even in the situation Tom gave, so I might say yes, because some people love to have a rise, or to be able to get into a bit of a debate. If you're seeing it kind of turn that way, just cut it pretty quickly. Because people, even if you say, like Tom said, I'm here to talk about footsteps, are pretty happy to also be like, oh, well, this is footsteps, and get into a bit of a war of words. So just be mindful if it's taking a turn.
Yep. As much as you want to engage with people, if that's the engagement you're getting, you don't have to at all. And just look back on your team, you know who's in your session, and those people have got your back, and they'll be able to tell if someone's trying to, have a bit of a go. So just be there for each other, but you guys are all across that, so no stresses. Is there anything else? Are you excited?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right, well, I think that is pretty much all I have to say. Good? Happy? Sweet. have a really good night. I think there's toasties if you haven't already had one. Feel free to order more drinks and stay here, chill out, enjoy it, and we'll see you at the Royal Adelaide show.